Hello, Geography 231 students. Welcome to week 3 of our class. This week we're going to be speaking about geodatabases. Geodatabases are really the Esri term for databases that store geographic data. So hopefully you're watching this after you've already watched the lecture video so that you understand a bit more about geographic databases. But essentially the majority of this lab deals with geodatabases, importing data, projecting data from an old projection into a new projection, a few other geoprocessing steps that you will encounter as you work your way through exercise 4. So I'm going to do exercise 4A and 4B with you now. And then it'll be up to you to finish the remainder C, D, E, F, and G. And it seems like a lot. The actual lab itself is a little on the longer side, and that's partly why we did a shorter tutorial and also a shorter lecture and lecture notes this week. So be aware of that. But it's all really good information and good tasks to do to test yourself on, so that you can kind of build those skills. And obviously, the whole goal of these first couple of weeks of class were so that you can really get comfortable with ArcGIS Pro. And this really, I feel like, is kind of the pinnacle of what we're going to be doing in terms of brushing up on our skills, or the whole introductory thing. If you hadn't used ArcGIS Pro before, these are skills that you're going to need to have going forward in the class. And so hopefully this brings everybody up to speed. I feel like not only does this particular exercise do a good job of explaining databases, but it also introduces you to other geoprocessing tools and the concept, really kind of early concepts of spatial analysis. So we'll get into that quite a bit more next week. But for now, we're going to work our way through exercise 4 of understanding GIS. And this will be the last week we use this textbook. Next week, I'm going to provide some handouts, and then we'll be jumping into making spatial decisions. So without further ado, basically just make sure you open up your textbook to page 138, 139, and go ahead and open up your working LA River Park site map project. And we're going to create a map. See where if I left off the right place. The first thing we'll do is create a lesson 4 map. All right, so you can either go to the map, the insert tab and click on new map, or you can open up the catalog pane, right click on maps and go new map. So I'm going to do that. And it will always by default just be called map. And so I'm going to rename it to lesson 4. I'll leave that for now. So just kind of set that off to the side for a moment, so to speak, and open up your lesson 2 or lesson 2A map. And that should have a whole bunch of data in it back from lesson 2. And the thing I want you to do now is go to the layer properties for block centroids. You should have block centroids in the map. These are all the centroids for every census block. There are a lot of them in Los Angeles County. It looks just like a mess at this scale. If you zoom in, you can see that each one of these little dots represents the centroid, or the center of a block of houses. And in LA County, the city of Los Angeles specifically, census blocks are a really good analogy for actual city blocks. It doesn't always work this way. Like if you go out into a rural area, a census block might be huge, like several square miles. But in this case here, in a very dense place like Los Angeles, one block represents an actual census block and vice versa. But what we have here are the centroids. So we don't actually see the polygons, we just see the centroids of polygons that were created originally. All right, so the reason we're going to do that is we're going to examine the spatial reference for the block centroids layer. So you right click, or you can either double click on it, or you can right click and go to layer properties and click on the source tab. It's already open on mine, and then open up or maximize spatial reference. We're going to scroll down and we're just going to look at the geographic coordinate system is World Geographic or Geodetic System 1984, and it's based on the WGS 1984 datum and coordinate system. Okay, so WGS 1984 is a very common spatial reference system, a coordinate system for data that's projected all over the world. It's not specific to North America like the North American datum. So if you pull data from Europe or from Asia, oftentimes you'll find it in WGS 1984. Okay, so for now, Just want you to see where you find spatial reference data. It's in the layer properties, source tab, and then you maximize spatial reference. Okay, so you can just go and hit the X or hit cancel. And then you can go ahead and close the lesson 2 tab or map and reopen lesson 4. I already have it open, so just make sure that the tab is active. Okay. All right, now we're going to click on the analysis tab. I've already got mine selected because I did this before. And then we're going to click in the geoprocessing group. Go ahead and click on the tools button. And what that does is it brings up the toolboxes or potentially your favorites, okay, or portal tools. That's not necessary in our case. That's if you're signed into ArcGIS Pro and you have tools stored on the cloud, which is a thing you can do. That's what those would be. So you got toolboxes, which are all of your collections of tools, or you've also got favorites. And in either case, you can just type in the keyword that you're looking for that's related to your tool. But in our case, we actually want to click on toolboxes, okay? And we're gonna drill down a bit in the data management tools. So all the toolboxes are in alphabetical order. So we're gonna find data management tools. And then within data management tools, we're gonna try to scroll down until we find projections and transformations, maximize that. And then the project tool. So project and project spelled the same, pronounced differently, mean different things. Looks like project, it's project. Project spatial data from one coordinate system to another. Okay, so that's what the book has you do. In the future, just so you know, all you need to do is just type in project, hit enter, and it will give you all the tools that have the word project in the name, but it's up to you to make sure that you're using or finding and selecting the correct tool. Okay, so we've got project raster, batch project, package project, define projection, consolidate project. And so what we actually want is the very first one, data management tools, project. And if you don't know, you just put your little cursor over the tool and it will give you the readout of what it is, a little description. So we select the project tool and then we will put our cursor over the little question mark here in the upper right hand corner. And it will give you a little preview. It'll explain what it is, and it'll give you 2 little thumbnails to kind of illustrate what the tool does. But if you click on that question mark, it'll actually open up a web browser. And in this case here, you'll see that, it tells you all about the project tool, data management tools, project. It tells you what the appropriate usage is, so on and so forth. Syntax, if you understand Python programming. So at any rate, if you are ever unsure about kind of the inner workings of a tool or when it's appropriate, just click on that question mark and it will then bring you to the Esri website. It's an encyclopedia of tools, geoprocessing tools. Okay, so with that being said, we are now going to click on the browse button here to the right of input. Okay, because we don't have any layers in the contents pane. Typically, if you have layers in the contents pane, you'll have a little drop-down arrow here, and you can just choose the tool, the layer that you want to use as your input, or you can drag and drop right in there. We don't have any layers in our contents pane, so we're going to browse to those layers. So click the browse button. Went off screen there, and we're going to go to ParkSite folder. Okay, so ParkSite, source data, Esri Geodatabase. Oh, sorry. Let's back up. Sorry about that. Back up. No, census. Okay, so folder. We're going to click on. We're going to click on ParkSite, source data, census, and then within census, you should see block centroids. Block centroids. Okay. Go ahead and hit OK. We're going to add those to the map. Okay. All right, so we've added those to the map, and now we've done that, we need to choose an output dataset name and location. And so as I've showed you before, you can either browse to the location, which is typically the way you do it in ArcMap, or you can just put your cursor into the output dataset window field, and then make sure that it goes to the proper geodatabase. Mine is LA River Park Site Test. Okay, I've just been using the same project since I started this at the beginning of the semester. So delete the name to the last backslash, and then we're going to replace that name with block centroids. No spaces. Block centroids. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to go to the output coordinate system parameter and click on the select coordinate button, which is this little globe. And we are going to expand the projected coordinate systems. I've already got favorites here, so there are multiple ways to do this. The book is going to have you drill down, okay, and it's always good to know where to find it to begin with. Then I'll show you a shorter way to do it. So click on projected coordinate systems, scroll down to state plane, again they're alphabetical order, and then state plane US feet. State plane NAD 1983 US feet. It's North American data 1983 US feet. And then we have state planes for all 50 states, okay, and the states are in alphabetical order. And so obviously, as you know, this is in Los Angeles, so we're going to find California. And California has 6 state plane zones. From north to south, they're zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so 0405 is specifically 04 is California. Zone 5 is the zone for LA County. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and choose 0405. And we'll do OK. All right, so to do a little faster in the future, you just click on select coordinate system, do a search, type in California, hit enter, and then it's going to only have the only results will be those with California in the name of the projection. So since we know the projection has to have California, open projected coordinate systems. Now look, we only have state plane and state systems. Go to state plane, NAD 1983 US feet, and then only California remains. Okay, so it's a little bit faster this way. You don't have to scroll through every single type of projection and then every single state in the United States. So a bit quicker. Okay. So we've done that. Pause for a sec. And go ahead and hit run now. Oh, I've already created this. So let's cancel this for a moment. I don't know if I just wrote over the old one. I might have. That's okay. So you'll see on my screen I've got a little exclamation mark. That means I've already got a feature class called block centroids, and it's because I already went through this lab and I forgot to delete it before I redid it. So at any rate, I think it must have been overwritten. Okay, so that's fine. It seems to have worked out. Okay, we'll just verify, make sure it's the right data. Source, yeah. Yes, we're good. Okay. All right, moving forward. So what you're going to want to do is go back to the catalog pane and verify that your block centroids feature class really did end up in your project geodatabase. So you're going to go to databases, find the project geodatabase, maximize it, and then sure enough, I've got a feature class in there called block centroids, and you should have all the same ones: block centroids, LA River perennial, line, point, and polygon. Okay, so yours should look the same as mine. So we can also check to make sure that the projection worked properly. So right click on block centroids, go to properties, source tab, scroll down to spatial extent, and projected coordinate system is NAD 1983, state plane, California, zone 5, 0405. Okay, so that worked. That is good. And we can proceed. Next thing we're going to do is set a favorite coordinate system. So as you saw earlier, probably if you noticed, I already had the state plane zone California zone 5 as a favorite coordinate system, and so you can do that pretty easily. If you go to the map properties, so you right click on lesson 4, go to properties, coordinate systems, and then I've already got a favorite here. Okay, but if you didn't have one, you just find the one that we're looking for. Okay, so again, you could drill down if you need to. California, projected coordinate systems, state plane, NAD 83, US feet, and then find zone 5, right click it, and click on add to favorites, or you can click this little button right here, add to favorites. Okay, so I've already done that, and now mine is there in my favorite section. Okay, so make sure you do that too. All right, so go ahead and cancel out of that. And you probably would want to hit OK instead of cancel. So if you hit cancel and it didn't save, go back and then do it again, hit OK. Okay. All right, next thing I want to show you is on the Analysis tab, you got a button here that says History. Go ahead and click on History. And that's going to show you all of the various tasks that have occurred over the course of this map's life, okay, or this project's life, actually, not just the map itself, the entire project. So you'll see I've got project here twice because I did this once already. I've already copied features, which is something else you'll do in the future. So you should just have like select layers by attributes, summary statistics, and then project, because those should be the only 3 steps that you've done in the project so far that involve any kind of geoprocessing. Okay, you will eventually have copy features as well. But if at any point you need to redo something, you can just double click and it will bring up the tool again, which is pretty slick. So let's say I want to go back to summary statistics. You double click on summary statistics and it brings up the summary statistics table. Okay, so it's pretty slick. If there's ever maybe a time that you realize as you've gone through the project, oh, I did something incorrectly, I did the wrong projection, something like that, you can go back, click on history, and it will tell you, what time you did it, what day and what time. You can double click on it and you can redo it. You can do the correct projection. So it's kind of like an undo button, but it actually lets you track it over time, which is really special and useful and a great addition to ArcPro that didn't exist as far as I'm aware in ArcMap. Okay, so let's see here. Moving forward, so let's go ahead and return to the catalog pane so you can close history and close geoprocessing for now. Go back to the catalog pane. And now we're going to copy a feature class. All right, so we've already got a feature class that exists and we're going to copy it shortly. Okay, but before we do that, we're going to adjust an environment setting. So we'll do that. So on the Analysis tab, which we already have open, go ahead and click on Environments. Okay. So what environments do is they allow you to basically choose the way that this particular map document behaves with regards to outputs and projections, processing extent, so the area within which the geoprocessing tool actually has an effect. Raster, it's really useful for raster analysis because you can choose maximum inputs and outputs. You can adjust units. Geodatabase, you can, if you're working in an enterprise system, you can choose output configuration keywords. So we're not going to really obviously need that now, but these basically just determine the way that this map project is going to behave. Okay, so specifically the thing we're interested in now is choosing an output coordinate system, which I've already done this, I think. No, maybe yours will be the same, I'm not sure. But basically here's what we're going to do. In the output coordinate system dropdown, hit the dropdown and then click on block Centroid. And so it's going to import the output coordinate system from that particular layer, block Centroid. So I think yours probably was blank before, or maybe it was WGS 1984. I can't remember, but basically just do the drop down, choose block Centroids, and it will import the output coordinate system. So what that means is that all geoprocessing tasks that will occur within this map will be output into the NAD 1983 state plane zone 5 coordinate system. So you don't have to reproject your data again. It all gets projected as it gets created. It gets projected into the same coordinate system. Okay. Let's go ahead and hit OK. All right. So let's now move on to copy parkland data. So we will be taking the parkland feature class from the WGS 1984 geographic coordinate system, and we're going to be projecting it into the state plane zone 5 coordinate system. So on the Analysis tab, where we've been this whole time, click on Tools. All right, well, you may already have that tab here in your pane on the right-hand side, but if not, just go ahead and click on Tools. And then in the search box up here, as I mentioned before, you can search any keyword from any tool name. We're going to put in the word copy and hit enter. Okay, so every tool that has the word copy in it will show up here. The one we want here is the first one, copy from data management tools. It says makes a copy of the input data. Useful, right? That's what we need. And then the great thing is when you do that, you choose an output location, and it will, because we changed the environment settings, the output location will be the geodatabase, and it will also have the proper coordinate system. Okay, so go ahead and open up that tool. For the input, we can, let's see, we're going to do the browse button again, and we're going to find the Esri geodatabase. So since we had added the block Centroids before, you want to go up a couple of layers, so you can hit this little up button, or you can just click up to Parksite. So we'll go up. Oh, I just passed it. Okay, so it's in the Parksite folder, source data, Esri geodatabase. landmark feature dataset, and then parkland. Okay, so the book says to double click it. You can either double click or you can just hit OK. Okay, then for the output, it's basically asking what do you want to call it and where do you want to save it. All right, so it's just like ArcMap in that regard. What we're going to do is call it Parks Regional. Okay, we're going to keep it in its correct LA River Park site map project geodatabase location, and we will call it Parks Regional. Okay, Parks Regional. All right, so make sure it's going to the right location, and then go ahead and hit run. Okay, so we have now created a new output feature class. And before we go to the geodatabase to confirm it's there, let's just check the output coordinate system. Oh, it's still in WGS 1984. Okay, I was expecting it to be in State Plane Zone 5. Okay, but it's not. I guess we'll just move forward on that. Okay, so we'll close that out. All right, so just go back to the catalog pane real quick and make sure that you open up your LA River Park site geodatabase and make sure that Parks Regional is there. And it is. All right, so let's move on. Okay, so that's going to do it for the tutorial portion. So you have to continue through from 4C through 4G, and then you just will wrap that up on your own. And I will have a specific announcement in this assignment on Canvas telling you specifically what I'm looking for. It's not entirely clear from the lab exactly what the output is. Like it's not like a clear product that you're creating. It's sort of like a collection of items, and so it will be up to me to kind of determine that. And so I'll have something specific that I'm looking for from you. And by the time you see this, you'll already know what that is. All right. So that concludes this tutorial. Have a great rest of your week. Happy Labor Day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.